Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be covering how to be a positive parent so that we can be better prepared to raise positive children. We're going to cover 5 tips on how to take care of yourself, and then also at least the 5 tips on how to care for your child through positive parenting. If you're a parent who wants to be able to raise your child from a place of peace, sense of order, then keep watching. So the first tip is to make yourself a priority. So by making yourself a priority, you're able to be more effective to care for your child. A big misconception is like where people think that putting your child first, but you actually have to take care of yourself in order to effectively put your child first. Think of a cup of water where you're pouring water into the cup, and so you want to pour clean water into a cup so it overflows and it kind of carries over to your kid.
So something that's important is you want to lead by example. So if you build yourself up positively, your kids always look up to you from the moment they're born. So they look at you as a role model. They look at you as, this big person that they want to be like. So if you lead by example, you're building yourself up just so your kids have somebody to look up to. Another tip for self-care is making time for others. We as humans, we need socialization to survive. It's just part of our instinct. It's part of our thrive to survive. And we need to have that socialization in our lives to help us learn new things, to help us be, good examples for other people. When you have socialization, it helps with mental health because, like I said, humans need socialization to survive. So if you're talking to other people, you have good mental health because you can talk to other people about what's going on. You can talk to a friend about, oh, well, this happened yesterday and this is how I feel about it. So you need that to kind of, give yourself that mental clarity and that mental calmness. You also want to choose the right friends and family to confide in. We all have those people that we consider toxic, which are the ones that are bad influences on us, the ones that push us to do things we don't want to do. I have a long history of hanging out with the wrong people, and it's considered toxic. Now, if you're hanging around toxic people, you're making yourself toxic. So it's kind of like radiation. If you go around radiation, you're going to be exposed to that radiation, and now you're going to have the radiation on your body. So it's important to make sure you hang out with the people who are like you, hang out with the people who have the same goals as you. You just want to hang out with the people that are very similar to you, but that are a good influence on you. And they're a good influence on you if they make you happy, if you look forward to seeing them every day.
Now, tip number 3 is to practice gratitude. Something I do every single morning is I open up my journal and I write down things I'm grateful for. The thing about gratitude is that no matter how you're feeling in your life throughout the day, it could be fear, it could be uncertainty, it could be anger, frustration, especially with a baby. I really feel like it's the antidote of just about everything, because you feel horrible, you don't feel good, but you remind yourself to be grateful for what you do have, grateful for life, grateful for kind of anything that really comes to mind, and it immediately erases it. At least for the time being, it erases that from your mind and helps you just feel better. I start every morning like this. I make it a daily practice to do gratitude and write in my journal things I'm grateful for. Number 1 thing is that I'm grateful for Casey and Riley and Starlight, our cat, and a roof over our head, or a common thing I kind of bring up in life and breath, and the fact that I wake up every morning and that we all wake up here in this household together as a family. That is something that I put into my journal every single day, and it could be different for each person, and definitely do it on a daily basis. And what I'm working towards, and what I encourage other people to work towards, not just on a daily basis, but on an hourly basis. Every hour, kind of just stop to think for a minute and just practice mindfulness and gratitude, and just be grateful for the moment that you're in. That's a huge thing. A lot of people always tell us to cherish every moment. The next tip is to journal about your best self. Every morning, as well as the gratitude journal, I also journal about who I want to be and where I want to be today, what I want to get done today, and also who I want to be today, and also in the future. So it's really important to remind yourself who you want to be, so that way you can reflect that throughout your day. And also helps finding out who you truly are, being your true authentic self, almost meditating on who you are at the core, and not what other people want you to be or anything like that.
So basically, by journaling about your best self, you want to have it so that you ask yourself, okay, is this the kind of role model I want my child to see? Is this the kind of person that I want my child to be? Is this who I want my child to see me as? It's all about like who you are inside of you and who you imagine yourself to be, the best self and version of yourself that you can be. Because if you're the best version of yourself, your child will see you as the best version of yourself and they'll want to be just like you.
The next tip for self-care is to get outside and exercise. Preferably at the same time if you can, if the weather permits it. But both are very important. Just getting outside helps with circadian rhythm, helps with sleep, physical health, regulates your physiology, and it's really important to kind of get outside, see the sun, see natural daylight. It's really important for you and for the baby or for your kid. Getting outside helps you to appreciate there's more than just yourself. You can see the nature. You can see there's more than just what you have in your home. There's the trees, there's the animals, stuff like that, and that there's more to life. There's more of a greater universe out there. It prevents you from kind of just getting stuck inside your own head and stuck inside yourself, and knowing that there's a grander purpose, and opens your eyes to other things like that. And going out there and exercising is really important. We go out every day and exercise. Preferably we walk a mile around the block, and it's really important just to stay in that good shape.
Another thing to going out and exercising is it helps keep you in shape, and it helps you stay in shape so that you can watch your kids grow up, because you don't want to be like sitting around a lazy bum and gaining all this extra weight and not doing anything. And then eventually as you grow up, you get like diabetes or whatever the case may be. You want to be able to keep yourself healthy so that you can watch your kids grow up. Now, my parents have a long history of like health problems and stuff, and my dad goes out and he goes to the gym every day. He goes for a walk every day. He does all sorts of stuff because he wants to see his granddaughter grow up. So that's why it's important to stay in shape, because if you stay in shape, you're also able to play with your kids. Like when you go out and exercise, it gives you that energy. And if you have that energy, you're able to roll around on the floor with them. You're able to, help them participate in tummy time. And, it helps give them energy. Like, I'm all energetic. The kids are going to see you energetic, and they're going to be like, oh, I want to be energetic too. So you want to make sure you have that energy. Okay, so now we're into section 2, which is caring for your child. So one tip in caring for your child in a positive way is to check yourself, your mood, and your tone. So when I say that, what I mean is when you're frustrated, you need to stay calm even though you're frustrated, because what happens is if you're feeding your baby and you're frustrated, they're going to sense that they're frustrated and they're going to act on it. So like if you're frustrated, they're going to start fussing even more because they know mommy's frustrated or daddy's frustrated. So, and I think it's because of me, so now I'm going to fuss. And the other thing is like, remember that they're living beings with emotions and feelings. So like when you get frustrated, they're going to see that and they're going to be like, oh, now mommy's mad at me, so I'm all upset now. They're humans just like us. Sometimes it's hard to realize that because they're so small. But you need to also remember they have emotions, they have feelings, they have, the same thing we do. They're just smaller. What you do is what they do.
And another thing is that, are you reacting or are you responding? When you're reacting, you're more on impulse, where it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What's happening? Where a response is more calculated. Like you take a second to stop, breathe for a second. Okay, this is what's happening in this situation. And now let me respond to the kid. Just differentiating reacting and responding and knowing the difference, and always to lean towards the way of responding is super vital in caring for your child and checking yourself in that moment. Okay, so the next tip is to check your perception, knowing the facts from your thoughts. Big thing is that there's this how you feel, how you think, and then how you act on it. So you want to make sure that you know what the facts are. And so like the baby is crying, the baby is uncomfortable. That's the fact. How you're feeling about it, the thoughts that go through your head about it. Oh my goodness, is this going to cause a diaper rash? Oh my gosh, this is going to cause this, this might cause that. And those are just the thoughts that are stemming from the facts. So you just differentiating the two can be a game changer, because if you're operating only on the thoughts of the facts, then it can be a slippery slope towards, like, being paranoid or having high anxiety. And just differentiating the fact between those two can just completely change the game.
Okay, so when something happens, you don't want to overreact or over exaggerate. You just kind of want to let your mind know what's happening. Like Ryan said, if the baby's fussing, don't overreact like, oh my God, I gotta take care of it. I gotta take care of it. I gotta take care of it. No, you want to step back a little bit and be like, okay, the baby's crying. When was the last time they ate? Or when was the last time I changed their diaper? And you kind of want to think about it before you react to it, because if you react to something, like as soon as the baby cries, the baby's going to know, okay, so every time I cry, I'm going to get mommy's attention. And they're going to cry just because they want attention. But you want to make sure that you step back and think to yourself, okay, why is the baby crying? So the next tip is seeing through your child's eyes. So you want to imagine what it feels like if your child is fussing and you know they haven't had a diaper change in like 2 hours. Imagine how they feel. Like, put yourself, okay, I haven't gone to the bathroom in 2 hours. I can see why they're fussing. I can see why they're uncomfortable. Or if they're fussing because they're hungry, maybe they haven't eaten in 3 or 4 hours. So you want to picture yourself and be like, okay, I haven't eaten in 3 or 4 hours, so now I know how they feel. Instead of getting angry and frustrated with them, think about it from their eyes.
And just knowing what their needs and what their wants are, babies are just like us, just little people, and they just want to have, they have wants, they have needs, they do want to seek out pleasure and avoid pain and have their own desires and things they want to do. So let them, explore that. The next tip is to develop new skills and new activities. Very important for us, but it's also very important for the kid and the baby. So, it helps with cognitive development. The more that you expose to the child, the more cognitive developed it can become. And just having them explore different things is totally huge. Learning new things is very healthy for the brain. I still find myself to this day, I'm always learning new things, and that's setting the example for the kid, and being able to make sure that they see that, like, oh, I want to learn new things too, and that is that's important. And so have them pursue goals and learn new things, have a good sense of accomplishment. Being proud of what you're doing, what you're pursuing, could be happiness in itself, and also getting that accomplishment and, like, I'm learning new things. Even through the child's eyes, you can definitely feel like that they're learning new things, they're advancing, and I know for myself that's something I love to do.
So the last tip is to parent the child you have, not the child you want. So what I mean by that is every child is different. You don't want to raise them to be the child that you want them to be. So like if you want them to be a doctor, don't raise them to be a doctor, because maybe they don't want to be a doctor. Maybe they want to be something else. Every person, like I said, every person is different. Every baby is different. Every child is different. Everybody's different. Raise them off of their strengths and their weaknesses rather than what you make out their strengths and weaknesses. Like, to help them reach their potential with their uniqueness. So every person has strengths, every person has weaknesses, and it's what makes them unique. So basically you want to help them reach their potential with their strengths and weaknesses. So expose them to new things. Like if you see that the child loves to play with a ball, give them a basketball, give them a soccer ball, that kind of thing.
And a question to ask yourself is, are you deciding for them or are you guiding them? You want to guide them, not decide for them. And so kind of what Casey was saying is let them choose, and they may change their mind a lot, especially as kids, they might change their minds, but it's your job to guide them in the direction of their strengths, and guide them in terms of, like, okay, you want to do this, then okay, we'll guide you to the desired result that you want, or that the child wants. Thank you for watching. If you're enjoying our content, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and put a like on this video.
Have a happy new year, and 2023 is going to be an exciting year. We'll be producing some exciting content for you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.